But I am excited to be here, and I'll kind of weave my story in so you get to know me a little bit through this process. But I would love to just hear, first of all, I'm gonna ask for you to type in the chat, to participate in the chat. I really love to create interaction. And so for me, it's really helpful to have that interaction with you through the chat. So to begin with, I would just love for you to drop in where you're from. Where are you tuning into this call from? So I get a sense of where everybody's at. I am currently in Spokane, Washington, and not in the warmth. So I'm a little bit jealous about that. But Wyoming, I have a sister-in-law from Wyoming, fantastic. Texas, Seattle, Westchester, Illinois, Dallas, Nebraska, Montana, Charlotte. Oh, I had two of my kids born in Charlotte. South Dakota, Missouri, fantastic. Vegas, New York. Wow. Wow, this is fantastic. All over the United States. That's incredible. Really happy to have you all here. We have like almost the entire like East Coast, Midwest, West Coast. We have it all represented here, which is awesome. So, little bit about me. So I'll give you a little bit of my philosophy and where I'm coming from so that you know the perspective that I will present from every time I'm presenting here with the bridge. So I come from a three-part perspective: mind, body, and heart. I really feel strongly that if we want to create lasting growth, lasting healing, lasting change, that we need to take a look at the whole person. We're not just one part, we're three parts. We have a mind, we have a body, we have a heart. So we need to be able to incorporate all three in what we're doing and learning so that we can make the changes that we want for ourselves. And so we're going to be looking through that lens in everything that we do. My my philosophy, the way that I've worked with clients, the coaching that I've done, the presentations that I do, all come from the mindset that information does not create transformation. Experience creates transformation. How many of you have learned something and thought, wow, that's really cool, and written it down and gone back and never applied it? Raise a hand if that's ever been you. Yeah, I think it's every single one of us. Like, how many conferences have I been to? How many times have I thought, read in a book or listened to a podcast, like, ooh, that's awesome. Would love to incorporate that. And by the next day, I couldn't even tell you what I learned, right? That's very common. It's a human condition. We're not alone in that. There's nothing wrong. But if we want to create lasting transformation, lasting change, lasting learning, we have to drop it from our mind into our body and heart. And that's what I take everything that I do. That's the perspective that I take that from. And that's because of my own experience and then the training that I've had. My journey has been one of knowing what to do, having a plan, knowing exactly why I want to do it, having a desire, and then why is it that I don't follow through? Right? In the things that are important to me, in the things that I want to create, why is it that I can know exactly what I want to do and not do it? That was a question that plagued me for years. And it was not just my own situation, it was the situation with my clients. And so I wanted to really study what it meant to create lasting change. And that's where I recognized it has to be all three parts. We have to look at the mind, the body, and the heart. We have to take the learning from our brain into our body and heart, and that's where things start to shift. That's where the little changes start to happen and they start to stick. So that's the lens that I take things through. That's why I incorporate mindfulness into everything that I do, because that is creating an experience in our body and our heart. It's why I feel so passionately about using our imagination, because Einstein said imagination is the preview of life's coming attractions. I love that quote. Imagination is the preview of life's coming attractions, because when we can see it in our mind, it feels as if we are a part of the experience, and we can bring our imagination in as a tool to help us grow, to help us shift, to help us change in the ways that are the most important to us. So I incorporate all of that. You might get little touches here and there. If you want more mindfulness tools specifically related to visualization and meditation, I have a podcast, Aligned Heart. You can access tons of free meditations. I record a podcast and then I record a meditation that accompanies that podcast. So again, you take the learning, a success principle, and drop it into your body and heart through the meditation. So check it out. That's a free resource. I throw it out there because I don't want to just leave you hanging. I want you to have resources that you can refer back to, because we're going to be pretty high level here. And if you want to go deeper, that's a great place to do it. So let's begin. So what is staying motivated and building confidence with mindfulness? So I want you to just feel into the word motivation. Okay, when you think of the word motivation, I want you to drop into the chat what feeling comes up for you around that. What's the feeling around motivation? What does it feel like? Does it feel fun? Does it feel hard? Does it feel exciting, positive, fire? Okay. Pride, awesome. Successful, yeah. Energetic, yep. Fantastic, love these words. Yeah, that fire, energetic, successful, positive, pride. All right, now I want you to drop into the chat. What is the feeling around mindfulness? What's the feeling you get when you think of mindfulness? Peace. Thanks, Brenda. Peace. Yeah, another piece. Clarity, calm, presence, self-love, calm, gratitude. Yeah, love it. Love it. So often when I present on this topic, intention. Oh yeah, thank you, Joelle. Beautiful word. I presented this topic at a conference for women. And one of the presenters, or one of the participants in the audience, said, how, like, I'm really curious, how do you put motivation that feels like fire, energetic, like it just has this big energetic energy? How is that related to mindfulness, which feels like calm and connection and gratitude, right? How is it that I can get to fire and excitement from mindfulness? And that's what we're going to explore today. I'm going to walk you through a process that allows you to understand what mindfulness is and what motivation is, and how you can use the two to create more of what you want. All right, so first off, we're going to talk about mindfulness and the definition of mindfulness. So the definition of mindfulness, what it is, it's moment to moment, non-judgmental awareness. That's the definition of mindfulness. Okay, moment to moment, non-judgmental awareness. Okay, so that, as we understand that, that kind of goes along with a lot of the words that you threw out there: calm, presence, connection, self-love. Right? That matches up with that moment to moment, non-judgmental awareness. Okay, so now I'm going to I'm going to define motivation in just a little bit, but I want you to first of all write down a goal or a desire, something that you would like to be experiencing more of in your life. Okay, just take a moment, write down something you want to be experiencing more of. Okay, so now I want you to write down, you have this idea of what you want. Now I want you to write down what will having that do for you. Just imagine for a moment that you have that. Okay? You've already got what you desire. You already have what you want. What will having that do for you? Now, some examples might be, I want to exercise on a regular basis. I want to get out of bed when I say that I'm going to. What having that does for you is build integrity, right? I have confidence in myself. I feel successful. I feel like I'm building integrity in myself. I believe in myself. So, would love to hear in the chat what you get, what having that does for you. Okay, just drop in a couple of words, maybe one word that describes what having that does for you. Motivation. Awesome. Yeah. Success breeds success, right? We feel motivated. At peace. Yes. Yes. So oftentimes we have a goal or a desire, something that we want. I would smile more. I love that. Thank you, Megan. We have this desire, this goal. But what the true desire is motivation, peace, smiling, right? Happiness, joy. That's our motivator. That's what's underlying this goal. Yes, the goal is important. Yes, what we want is important. But at the heart of it, what's underneath it is what we truly want. Okay. And that's just good to notice because what oftentimes we think is that for example, when I wake up consistently and exercise, then I will feel motivated or I will feel confident, right? And we have it backwards. When I feel confident, when I turn the volume up on my confidence, then I get out of bed and exercise, right? And we think that we have to wait in order to feel confident to get out of bed, right? Like, well, if I get out of bed 10 times and I actually accomplish my goal, then that means I'm confident. But in reality, we can turn up our confidence because our confidence is an inside job. Confidence in ourselves is built from the inside out. And that's what I'm going to walk you through today is how to do that. Because when you tap into your true desire, that's when you move forward. That's when you start to take action. You don't have to wait. So now that you have what you want, right? This is the goal that I have or the desire. This is what having that will do for me. Now let's just, from a place of compassionate curiosity, look at what stops you. What gets in the way of creating what you want? Okay, just go ahead and write that down. Just again, from a place of compassionate curiosity, place of awareness. Excuses, thank you. And feel free to drop it into the chat if you'd like. If you want to just keep it to yourself, that's fine. Worry, absolutely. Fear, prioritizing other things. Yeah. Thank you all for sharing, because what that does is it helps all of us realize, oh, it's not just me, right? Like, yeah, we all have the things that get in the way of creating what we want. Yeah, it'll take too long or I'm too late. Such a great example. Sometimes that thought that, I'm too late. I'm past that, right? It's never going to happen for me. Happens for everybody else, but not for me, right? It'll take too long. I'm too late. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. So when we understand, when we can look at these things from a place of compassionate curiosity, I'm going to take you through an exercise at the very end where we're going to kind of take a look at this. But we're looking at each of these. We're looking at our desire through the lens of compassionate curiosity. We're looking at what's stopping us through the lens of compassionate curiosity. We're looking at it through mindfulness, moment to moment, non-judgmental awareness. Just this exercise right here took you into a place of mindfulness. It took you out of the problem and into a place of curiosity, which opens up possibility. Right? When I'm in judgment, it feels like nothing is possible. But when I'm in curiosity, it feels like possibility. I wonder what a solution could be, versus I'm never going to get there. Okay, so just this exercise alone starts that process of moment to moment, non-judgmental awareness. Okay, so we have this desire, right? This is where we are now. This is what I want. It's over here, right? How do we bridge that gap? How do we go from where we are now to what we want to create? That's where we tap into motivation. We want to create motivation to get from where we are now to where we're going, where we want to be. So I'm going to talk about 3 levels of motivation, and this is where we get into the definition of motivation. And I'm not going to give you the Webster's definition of motivation. I'm going to get you into your body to experience the different types of motivation. Okay, there's 3 levels of motivation. The first is I have to. Okay. And when I say that, I want you to feel what that feels like in your body. I have to. I have to go from here to here or else, right? When you think about I have to, what's the feeling that comes up with that? Gross. Pressure. Yes. Yes. Stifling. Anxiety. Yep. Absolutely. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning demotivating and 10 being very motivating, where does I have to fall? Does it feel like it's like you're just going to get out tomorrow and go out and do it? Priority. Thank you, Corky. Yeah, a 1. 5. Yeah, middle of the road. Absolutely. We're going to talk about why this is. But yeah, an 8. Yep. They can be all over the place, right? It's okay.
Fine.
All right. Thank you for that. So we have, I have to. I have to as a motivator that feels like pressure, stifling, anxiety, and priority, right? It feels like a lot of different emotions, but they feel pretty heavy, right? Now I want you to think about I should. That's the second level of motivation. I should do this. I should change. What's the feeling associated with I should? Go ahead and drop it into the chat. Guilt, forced. Yeah, still pressure. hmm Yeah. So I have to is motivated by anxiety. Rachel, probably won't happen. And Corky, other things get in the way. Yeah. Tad says there's an option not to. I should, but there's an option not to. Right. So I have to is just like, ugh, heavy anxiety, pressure. I, I, I should is more of a guilt motivator. Maybe there's an option of not to. Okay. Now I want you to feel into I get to. What's the feeling associated with that? I get to do this. Joy, relief, willingness, happiness. Absolutely. Yep. Excitement. Thank you, Bo. All right, so now same question with this. On a scale of 1 to 10, anticipation, that's a fantastic word. Thanks, Molly. On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivating is I get to? 1 being not motivating at all and 10 being very motivating. Okay, I get to 8, 7, 9, 8, 8, 9. Yeah, don't even need to be motivated. I'm compelled. Ooh, I love that, Molly. Yeah, it's what I like to think of it as it's almost like a pull. A lot of my clients in the work that we do together, um, they say it's like I don't even have to remember to be different. It's just who I am. Like I'm different without having to remember to be different. It's just who I am. We become different without having to remember to be different. That's that compelled. That's that pull. It's like I don't even need motivation. All right. So now let's talk about why we use these motivations. Okay. So we have the fear motivation, right? I have to. We have the guilt motivation. I should. And then we have the compelled or the excitement motivation. I get to. So most often what I find is that we refer back to I have to. That is the most commonly used motivator. And the reason that we use it is because it works. I want you to think about if you were getting run down, like if you were crossing a street and there was a great big Mack truck that was coming at you full speed, you would run out of that. How fast would you run? Like full speed ahead, right? You would get out of the way because I have to. There's fear there. That fear that I'm going to get run over by that truck is the motivator, right? And it works really well. You sprint out of the way of that truck. It's a short-term motivator and it works really, really well. You're not going to be like, I get to move out of the way. It's you're not going to be dancing and skipping as you get out of the way of the truck. You're going to run because it feels really important. Now, that's great for that sprint. It's great for that 50-yard sprint. The problem is when we try to use that same motivator in a marathon. Can you run a full marathon, 26.2 miles, at that same pace? No. What happens? Drop it into the chat. What happens if you try to run 26.2 miles at a sprint? You burn out. You burn up and out. Yes. Yes, it's not possible. But our brain wants to tell us, thank you. Yeah, you collapse. Absolutely. Right? Our brain wants to tell us to use that motivator because it works. But it doesn't work for the long term. It's why we can have willpower for about 2 days, maybe 2 weeks, and then we burn out because we're using the motivator of I have to do this. I have to make this change. I have to make it happen. And we're using it as for a good reason, because we really do want to make the change, right? We really want this for ourselves. And the motivator that we're tuning into is a great short-term motivator. But if we want to use that motivation long-term, if we want to create lasting change, we have to tune into a different kind of motivation. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. That is where mindfulness comes in. Thank you, Ashley. Is that why procrastination works sometimes? Because it's forcing you into a sprint? Absolutely. When we can create stress, even if it's psychological stress, right? The more stress that we create for ourselves, the more motivated we'll be. So if I have a test or if I have a paper that's due on the 15th, if I wait until midnight on the 14th, I'm going to be super motivated and focused. My stress level is going to create cortisol, which is a stress hormone. It's going to help me stay focused. It's going to narrow me in on exactly what I need to do for that 12 hours until my paper is due. But if I try to do that for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to burn out, right? So that motivator is a great short-term motivator, but we have to tap into something else for the long term. Joelle, maybe motivation is not something you find, it's something you ignite. I love that. Love that. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. That's how I'm going to show you how you can ignite that long-term motivator using mindfulness. Okay. So we're going to talk about creating safety in the body to open up the energy of yes. That energy of yes is that energy of I get to. That's the excitement. That's the compelled. That's the yes, I get to do this. Right? So we want to tap into that. We want to learn how to use that energy. And it's not an affirmation. I actually don't believe in affirmations. And I'll show you why. An affirmation is something that you're trying to pull out of thin air and try to force yourself to believe. I often look at it as yelling positive affirmations in the mirror, and they bounce right back. I had a client tell me once, it's like my thoughts, I'm trying to convince myself of something that my body doesn't believe. Right? It's like it's bouncing off of what I truly believe about myself. It doesn't feel real. What we're going to create today is not an affirmation. Right? We're going to create something different, and I'll tell you at the end what that is. Okay. Let's begin that process now. So I want you to think about a time that you felt powerful. Okay? And it can be a little thing. It does not have to be a major thing. It can be, I got out of bed when my alarm went off. It can be, I had a difficult conversation with someone. It can be, I actually followed through with something I said I was going to do. Okay? I want you to just identify a time that you felt powerful. Go ahead and write that down. Okay. It's movement, not magic. Love it, Joelle. Yeah. Okay. Now I want you to just put yourself, this is where we're going to be using that Einstein's tool. I want you to just close your eyes for a moment. I want you to close your eyes and I want you to step back into that moment. Like literally sliding yourself right back into the you of that moment. Sliding your toes into your toe slots, your fingers into your finger slots. Taking a deep inhale all the way down to your belly and exhaling right into that moment. Allowing yourself to feel all the sensations of that moment. What does it feel like to be the you that's experiencing that powerful version of you? Beautiful. So go ahead now, and I want you to just name the emotion here. Name the feeling here. What does it feel like to be this version of you? Write it down, drop it in the chat. Solid, in control, at peace, whole, proud, tall, unstoppable, grounded, aligned, calm, prideful, beautiful, proud, and free. Hey, do you feel just even the energy in the room right now, this little Zoom room that we're creating together? Do you feel that? This is powerful stuff here. This is powerful energy. Now, I want you to put an I am at the beginning of that word. I am whole. I am proud, tall, unstoppable. I am grounded. I am aligned and calm. I am prideful. I am whole. I am proud and free. Allow yourself just to have that. This is your statement. This is your moment. Okay. This is what I call a belief statement. This is not an affirmation. This isn't something that you're pulling off in Pinterest and trying to believe. This is something that your body already knows how to feel. This is a reminder of the truth of who you are. This is why belief statements, I feel, are so much more powerful than an affirmation, because it's not about trying to believe something that I'm not. It's remembering what else is also true. Okay? Now, I want you to think about this I am statement that you have. I am whole. I am proud, tall, and unstoppable. I want you to think about if you came from that energy to accomplish the goal or the desire that you had for yourself, how motivated would you feel? Right? So turning up third level, yeah, I can do anything. Yeah, absolutely. And what I also want you to realize is that this feeling is not out here. You didn't have to do anything to go get it or earn it. It's already inside of you. You found it inside right now. It's already there. It's just reminding yourself of it. Courageous, yes. So now let's take a look at how you can apply this into what you want to create, because that's what this is all about, right? We want to be able to shift and make the changes that we want to create in our life, in the things that are important to us. And we want to use a motivator that feels motivating, right? We want to feel that motivation that feels like that, yes, instead of, ugh, I have to. Okay, so this is this formula for turning up the volume on that energy of yes. So the very, very first thing that we have to do is we have to feel first. Sometimes we want to just jump right into that feeling of yes, right? That feeling of like, I'm unstoppable. I got this. I can do anything, right? And that is possible. But sometimes there's a lot of feelings that are in the way, right? All of those feelings that came up when you listed out what stops you or gets in the way, right? So when you think about what is stopping you, when you think about like running up against that brick wall, like you're headed forward, you're like, yes, I'm going to make this change, I'm going to do this, and then you run into a brick wall. What does that feel like, right? When you think about what's stopping you or gets in the way, the excuses, it's too late, I'm not going to be able to do it. What are the feelings that come up with that? What feelings come up when you stop yourself or get in the way? Fear, defeated, disappointment, failure. Absolutely. Blocked. Yeah. So we can't grief. Thank you, Amber. Yeah. We can't just pretend those feelings aren't there. This is not about using just positivity to force our way into believing something that feels really hard to access. Resigned. Thank you, Molly. Yeah, that's that resigned feeling of just like I might as well just stay where I'm at. Right? So feeling first is really, really important. We can't access that higher level emotion, that feeling of motivation, without addressing what is getting in the way first. So what one of the ways that you can do that is by simply acknowledging the feeling. Okay. This is a feeling that needs to be processed. It is not a problem that needs to be solved. Okay. I'm going to say that again because that's really, really important. It's a feeling that needs to be processed, not a problem that needs to be solved. Sometimes we want to solve for all the excuses. Like, why am I not doing this? Why is this not happening? I don't know why I just can't follow through with what I say I'm going to do. And that keeps us in the spin. To get out of the spin, we address the feeling without trying to solve the problem. It's a feeling that needs to be processed, not a problem that needs to be solved. Okay? So first of all, I'm going to walk you through one way in how to do this, okay? So I want you to go ahead and just feel, again, close your eyes, and I want you to feel that fear, that failure, defeated, disappointed, blocked, grief, resigned. Go ahead and just allow that feeling to be there. I'm not trying to run away from it. You're just allowing it to be here. And I want you to go ahead and just breathe into that, using your breath to create space. Just letting this part of you know all parts are welcome here. Maybe even feeling into it, noticing where it lives in your body. Maybe it's in your gut. Maybe it's in your chest. Maybe it feels like tension in your shoulders. Go ahead and just allow it to be here. And now name it. Okay, in your mind, and you're just using your words. I see you, fear. I see you, disappointment. I see you, failure. I see you, blocked, or grief, or resigned. And I hear you. Okay. Now I want you to go ahead and just take a couple of deep breaths, breathing into your belly all the way down, exhaling out through your mouth. One more time. Inhale deeply. Exhaling out through your mouth. Just creating safety in your body using your breath. And now I want you to ask the power question. What else is also true? Yes, I feel disappointed sometimes. I feel failure sometimes. I feel grief or resigned. Yep, that's true. It's here. What else is also true? And now I want you to breathe into your I am statement, your belief statement. Yeah, I also feel powerful sometimes. I also feel unstoppable sometimes. Yeah, I also know I can do it. Now I want you to breathe into that part of you, remembering where that feeling lives in your body and putting your attention on it by using your breath. Breathing into it, turning up the volume on it using your breath. Breathe 3 times here. And now ask yourself the question, what is one small step? Does not matter how small, But from this powerful part of me, what is one small step I can take? And go ahead and write that down. And maybe the step will come to you. Maybe it didn't come right away, and that's okay. Maybe it's just enough to know where that energy of yes lives and to know that you can turn it up with mindfulness. Okay. So I want you to think about one aha or takeaway from today. What is one thing that you were meant to hear today? It doesn't have to be, you're not going to take everything away from this, but you are going to take one thing that spoke to your heart. So I want you to just write down in your journal or in the chat one aha or insight today. I already have the motivation within me. Awesome, Corky. Remembering to use the motivation I get to. Thank you, Brenda. I'm not stuck unless I stop. Love it, Amber. Address the feeling without needing to solve the problem. Oh, huge, Molly. Yeah, thank you. It's okay to be okay. 100%. Love it, Gavin. Transverse your goal and results of the goal. Mm-hmm. I don't have to toxic positivity my way through life. Love it. Thank you, Haley. Curiosity opens you up to new possibilities. Yep. Yeah. And doesn't curiosity feel like it's like a whole lot more available than solving a problem? Yeah. I get to strive towards my goals. Absolutely. Yep. I get to. It's a powerful motivator. Awesome. Well, thank you all. That is my 50 minutes for tonight. Any questions? Awesome. Flipping the mindset from